Hey folks, welcome back to Chatting with Caesar. I'm your host, Mysterious JG. We're having a little chat with Caesar, the leader of Caesar's Legion. He prefers to be called Kaisar. I guess, because he's like, he pronounced etc. differently from the way I've always heard it. I'm thinking the idea is that he's using actual Latin pronunciations of English language phrases we've gotten from Latin. But, oh, excuse me, sorry, it's like, I don't know what that was. Um, yeah, let's just keep chatting with him, and he thinks that we're helping him. At this point, we're not. Really, we didn't do what he asked us to, but he thinks we did. This is just a bit of story fudging. It's a bit silly. You know, it's a Fallout game, so they don't like you to be able to put yourself in a position where the game is unwinnable. Sometimes it's unrealistic. The game bends over backwards to give you the freedom to make multiple choices, or to switch allegiances at any time. Fallout 3, there's this issue where no matter how many Enclave soldiers you killed, you always are given the same opportunity to betray your friends of the Enclave. But it's structured in such a way that because you act as a double agent for the Enclave, it changes very little dialogue, because you're still pretending to be friends with the other side for such a long time. Spoiler alert if you've never played Fallout 3, and if Bobo ever gets around to LPing it, something he's mentioned offhandedly as a possibility. So in this one, it's like, alright, you show up. Now Kaisar has the platinum chip, so he can get into that bunker and do what needs to be done. But instead, he asks you to go do it for him. There's no reason I can come. Maybe somebody can in the comments tell me why. I don't understand why he couldn't send his own guys down there to do what he wanted them to do. What had been stopping him was not having the platinum chip. Once he got the platinum chip, I mean, the best explanation they came up with is some vague talk about how we respect you because you get results. But there's no reason he should have trusted you to take care of it for him. And really, although you can side with Caesar's Legion and gain up points with them, you have very few opportunities, and it makes sense because you're an outsider, and they're very much not into trusting outsiders. But Hall and Nash would not have done well here. But no, the idea that like you wait this long and late in the game before you're really allowed to start siding with them makes it feel kind of unnatural to side with them. But they are like pretty clearly the villains of this whole piece. Anyway, let's continue chatting with them. I'm a little more interested to hear what he thinks of Mr. House than I was in what he thinks of the NCR. Although what he thought of the NCR was actually kind of interesting and well thought out as far as like a... You know, he seems like a villain that they gave some thought into. Why would somebody actually do the things he's done?
I know he's a coward, hiding behind an army of robots ensconced in that tower of his like a wizard in one of those Grognak comic books. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I don't care. He's in the way.
See, that's a bit lazy. I thought he might have more to say about House. But the fact is, it's important that very few people, including Benny himself, know as much about House as you, the player character, do. And again, that's something where in order to make the game interesting and to give you information about what's going on in the world, Mr. House tells you a bunch of stuff about himself that he's not motivated to do it. And at this point, there's very little reason I mean, as far as letting the player know what's going on in the world and giving the player an inside scoop on what these different parties' motivations are, from a gaming perspective, it makes sense that we're sitting here having a chat with Kaisar and learning all this stuff about the Legion. But if you think about it from a character viewpoint, there's no reason for Kaisar to be opening up with you about all this stuff. There's no reason for Mr. House to have told you all the stuff he told you. Sometimes you make trade-offs. The game I'm planning to get into after I finally knock this one out is Mass Effect. It's going to have a lot of that. Situations where, in order to make it a fun game, they give you freedom that doesn't really make sense as part of the world they've set up.
What else did you want to know?
Although in the case of Mass Effect, the entire world is structured around giving you a ludicrous amount of freedom to do whatever you want. What role will regional powers play in this conflict?
I've analyzed the region's tribe to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time, if it suits me.
I think we fucked things up here. I did the quest to get the Great Khans to ditch Caesar's Legion because I decided I wanted the NCR ending, and now I'm thinking about doing more than one ending.
What else did...
How'd you rise to power?
Ironically, I was born a profligate myself. a citizen of the NCR.
Well, how could you be a propagate
My
before there was a
family lived
Legion?
not far from the Great Boneyard. After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old. She found work at their library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge.
You were a follower of the Apocalypse?
Oh yes, raised in that tradition. And the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
What changed you? What caused you to change so much? And why are you so different now? And what kind of a boy do you like?
When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun. As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time.
Why would learning dialects be a waste of time, and why weren't most of them speaking English?
If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the Apocalypse, or an idiot. Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects, Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me, but before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom. They were a backward bunch, but the real problem was they didn't know how to fight.
What's wrong with the Blackfoot?
The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps.
What steps did you take?
I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives and started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the Apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books.
What happened after you trained the Blackfoot?
Divide et impera, divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare.
A term that wasn't
Like
invented until World
There's
War
a lot
II.
you can learn from old books.
What happened to the tribes?
Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that.
Hail,
Pissant
Freedom, your
tribes
land
should be
of the
forgotten.
brave.
I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was large enough. I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me back west, with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
And since forming the Legion, all you've done is conquer other tribes?
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power, forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My Legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my Legion will have its Rome.
Can't help but wonder what's going on in China all this time, because it's interesting. In theory, the future of America could be this guy's Legion rising up and taking over the whole continent. It's possible. The continent of America, you know, yeah, the continent of North America, basically. Meanwhile, in China, is there some, like, history major guy who has decided that he's going to restore the Han? Could be.
What else did you want to know?
What's that machine in your tent?
It's called an autodoc. As the name suggests, it's an automated physician, more or less. He can treat broken bones, cuts, punctures, scrapes, Sometimes I bestow its use upon someone I favor. Makes for a powerful gift in a culture that forbids painkillers and is largely ignorant of medical science.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
It's called... Complete your mission.
Okay, we keep saving, but... What happens if I tell him I'm done working for him?
Until Mr. House. Until Mr. House.
Oops. Well, I guess I can load the autosave. I'm just curious what happens if you tell him, I'll eliminate House, or no way, fuck you. If you tell him you're not working for him anymore, you probably get another chance, actually. Probably just tells you, like hell, you do what I say, brother, and then the conversation continues.
I'm sure you found Benny's. You know. Mark my words, you piece of shit. This is the last time you will ever refuse to perform an order I've given you. If you meant what you said, you'd best be on your way, and at good speed. And forget all that I could have given you. If you ever disobey me again, I will order my Praetorians to hack you to death with their machetes for my entertainment. Until Mr. House is...
Yeah, so that really is kind of silly. He threatens you, he's mean, but he doesn't actually change your standing with Caesar's Legion, and he doesn't actually do anything to you. So let's tell him we're going to kill Mr. House, and he'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever, get the fuck on with it.
I'm sure you found... Good. Don't know what kind of security he has inside the Lucky 38, but if you can find a way of catching him off guard, do so.
Yeah, so that really was worth saving, huh? Alright. Now, I have a feeling that we should be able to do something with our medical score and checking out the auto dock. As it says, it's not working. Yeah, whatever. So I guess we get to leave. That's nice.
What'd you think of Mr. House? I was surprised he only had the 2 robot sex slaves.
Let's get going.
Aw.
I didn't realize that she would have dialogue about Mr. House. That's interesting. The 2 robot sex slaves I have heard is a reference to the fact that originally there were going to be 2 Securitrons with female faces, and one of them was taken out of the game, but they left in that piece of dialogue for Veronica. So how the hell do we get out of here again? Fudge. Should have figured that out before I got too far. I was heading in generally the right direction. Okay, yeah, I was heading basically the right way. I thought I was going the right way, but I was expecting to see that guy who you talked to get on the boat.
Slaves aren't much of a challenge in the arena.
Yeah, it's fine. Fantastic. Especially because we get to go in fully armored and... So like mildly irradiated at this point, not quite up to
Excuse me.
Pardon me, sir. I'm a slave.
Hey there.
Hey.
So you're the visitor I've heard some of the legionaries talking about. If you're in the mood to trade, just say the word.
Have you ever met Caesar?
I haven't had the pleasure. I have crossed paths with Legate Lanius, his second-in-command, however. It was unpleasant.
Tell me about the Legate.
He's the best the Legion has to offer. Or so the legionaries say. Brute of a man, wears a fancy metal mask in a battle. He killed one of my pack Brahmins simply because it was in his way. I knew better than to complain about it, though.
What's the deal with this guy? What's he even hanging around here
Shoot.
for? Are you part of the Legion?
No, sir. I'm an independent trader from Arizona.
Is it dangerous to trade with the Legion?
Not at all. They're my best customers. As long as you don't try to sell them chems or alcohol, they treat you fair. Hell, I don't even need to travel with guards most of the time in Legion territory. All the bandits are dead or run off.
You ever trade with the NCR?
Between having to hire protection and getting slapped with taxes, it's more profitable to stick to Arizona and New Mexico. But I do cross the river from time to time when an opportunity comes along.
Talk about something else.
Have a-
Show me your moves. He's got cards. Some interesting stuff he's got there, actually. If I was using those weapons, it would be more interesting. But I'm really not. Any ammo? No. It's probably your only... Probably don't have a ton of choices for merchants if you take the Legion path, so... I may not... I'm not sure I can be bothered to come back and get the Legion ending. I mean... I don't know. Maybe I could just have one really long video where I do all the Legion stuff. Did I just go the totally wrong way here? I might have done. Yeah, I really wanted to end this particular recording session at the end of the last video, but there's a lot of conversation left with Caesar. So, probably got another couple of minutes before I can wrap this one. But it would be nice to go over there and report to House and see what he wants us to do next, because when I did my quick run just to see an ending, I didn't end up actually doing this stuff here.
I'll wait.
If you follow Yes Man's path, this part's optional. Okay, so we want to go over here somehow. And then there's a path that branches over here. There we are. There we are.
Awe, are you ready to return to Cottonwood Cove?
Yes, sir. You're my best friend now.
Very well.
Very well. I am your best friend now. Got confiscated equipment. And I got dehydrated. We can probably deal with that, though. So we can now go back and forth at will, which is nice. Let's head over to Good Springs, where we've been idolized. We're idolized by the NCR, which is interesting. It means that if we take the Legion path from this point on, it will take a while for the NCR to get hostile to us. But not that long. There are a couple of things you can do for the Legion, I would imagine, that drop your reputation with the NCR pretty fast. And I'm hungry. Which reduces your strength, which is why I'm now struggling to actually carry my stuff. I just want to come in and wake the doc up in the middle of the night so we can remove our radiation. Maybe take a nap on his bed. You know, normal stuff. Ali Dean.
Where you at, Doc? I got a couple of skin job Cylons for you.
Like the way she was running around, it's like she'd found his dead body and was rushing to report.
How are you holding up?
What are you eating there? Help me, Doc. Said before he had something taken from you.
Well, ain't we all, right?
I keep wondering, I think, did I miss some dialogue there where I was supposed to have done something?
Sure,
It's 100 caps is a steal at this point in the game. It's like, you know, how much would it cost me to get that much Rad-X? It cost me more than 100. Alright, let's go visit our good friend, Mr. House. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, we're only liked. We're still not idolized by the NCR. You know, we forgot about those dumbass quests we could do at the Thorn, too. We never went to the M&H Tools factory. I don't even remember what we were supposed to go there for. Anyway, the north gate of the strip will be fine. I talked about putting the music back on when we got around to doing more wandering. Might be fun to put the music back on for the final missions. Although it would certainly be irritating if somehow the final missions we couldn't play because of... Or, oh, thank you, buddy. The final missions got blocked on YouTube. I guess I could do it so that it took off all the... Well, you know what? I would have to keep the source files that were used to make the video. There are things I could do to fix it. I could kill the sound during those portions and then bring it back for the ending scene, and keep my what you call it, commentary track, but it would be a pain. I think I might do that for the actual final mission with the Battle of Hoover Dam. I could have like Johnny Guitar playing in the background. He's the one they call Johnny Guitar.
Where to, partner?
I'll go see your boss. So somehow you count as 2 robot sex slaves to Veronica. How you doing, boss?
I take it you've come to deliver the platinum chip?
Here you go. Let's talk about payment. Might as well get some cash out of him.
Our terms were clear. Now that you have the chip in your possession, any attempt to renegotiate payment would be tantamount to blackmail.
Jeez, man.
Such a small thing, isn't it? And yet so...
Oh, that's right. We already got points for negotiating this.
So
the
very
extra
dear.
250.
Decades of hiring salvagers out west to search for this little relic in the ruins of a place called Sunnyvale. Back then, anyway. That's where the chip was printed, on October 22nd, 2077.
Man, we've been through this.
It was to have been hand-delivered to me here at the Lucky 38 the next day. But the bombs fell first. Suffice it to say, the delivery was never made.
Damn Chinese, damn nuclear holocaust. What happens next? I'll be on my way then.
I must insist that you stay long enough for me to show you that the Platinum chip does more than change the pictures on the Securitron's face screens. Events of great import are about to unfold, with you taking a central role. To get started, all you need do is take the elevator all the way down.
He's like, really? I mean, I thought we were friends. You're not just gonna, like, leave now, are you? Seriously? That would be pretty crazy if you go all the way to Caesar's camp, and then you're just like, alright, well, I'm done. That was my mission. Thanks.
Demonstration area, if you would. I expect you're well familiar with my Securitrons by now. The titanium alloy housing that protects its electronic core is like small arms and shrapnel easily enough.
Understood.
Its X-25 Gatling laser produced to spec by
Love to use the binoculars,
is
but
deadly against soft targets at medium range.
I'm overburdened. Go ahead. I'm listening. Did I not pick up the binoculars? What are they, a melee weapon?
And for close-range suppression or crowd control, the Securitron is armed with a 9mm submachine gun. All of this you probably already knew. What you did not know is that these are the Securitron's secondary weapons. All this time, my Securitrons have had to get by running the Mark I operating system, which lacked software drivers for their primary weapons.
That's a real shame.
Today, with the delivery of the Platinum chip, all that changes. Behold, for the first time, Securitrons running the Mark II OS. The M235 missile launcher gives the Securitron the ability to engage ground and air targets at significantly longer ranges.
Got too much weight I'm carrying. I'll eat a steak.
And a rapid-fire T-28 grenade.
So I can keep the binoculars. I don't remember seeing a lot of these around.
Range engagements. The software upgrade also includes drivers for the Securitron's highly sophisticated onboard auto-repair systems. Altogether, the Mark II software upgrade confers a 235% increase in combat effectiveness per unit. The city of New Vegas finally has soldiers worthy of protecting it.
I don't know how the freaking binoculars work.
Return to the penthouse now. We have much to discuss.
I don't know how these binoculars work. They're classified as a
Trips
weapon,
to the
presumably so you
basement are rarely
can
so
wield them and look
educational,
through them.
don't you think?
Sure.
I've since broadcast the upgrade to every Securitron in range of my transmitters, and I must say, it's causing quite a stir down on the Strip.
I just leveled up. Well, you know. Why show your hand like that? Now you already know what you're up to. You think Securitron's gonna defeat the Legion and NCR? I'll be on my way, Mr. House. What happens next?
The foundation is laid. My Securitrons on the Strip are upgraded, and those at the fort ready for action. Now it's just a matter of adjusting the attitudes of some lesser groups while we wait for Caesar's Legion to attack Hoover Dam.
I'll come here to kill you, Mr. House. What's the next step?
Outside New Vegas,
Again.
at what was once called Nellis Air Force Base, resides an unusual tribe known as the Boomers. They are, shall we say, aggressively reclusive.
They're after your
They
own
have
heart.
several howitzers they fire at anyone who dares approach the base.
He's pretty reclusive.
Artillery of this sort has a range of several miles. If it's going to fire on Hoover Dam, I want it firing at my targets. If not, then I want to make sure that the Boomers don't sign similar treaties to fire their guns in support of the NCR or Caesar's Legion. Use extreme caution when approaching the base. Their firepower is considerable. Recently, one of my roaming Securitrons observed a man near the base studying the pattern of its artillery fire. Maybe he's learned something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I already am good friends with those guys. So that's up to 80. Can sneak up to 80. Because barter and sneak, if I have to keep my eye out for the magazines, but I can, once they're at 80, you can get them to 100 temporarily. Why did I get this up to 84? Must have gotten up to 80 and then found a permanent boost item. There are potential, at the very end of the game, before you fight the bosses, there are ways to try to avoid combat using speech and barter challenges, but you'd need to have like a perfect score in either one, so I would need to have the magazine handy, basically. I'm tempted to raise survival again, but I've already talked about how it's kind of worthless. So I could either try to max out something so that I don't need magazines. I could try to raise unarmed to learn new moves from the Legion guys, but yeah. Melee weapons potentially for fighting in the Legion's combat pit, but now I'll just work on repair. I don't understand what you do with these things, but I really don't want to just get rid of them.
Any progress with the boomers?
Still working on it. I'd like to ask some more questions.
What did you want to discuss?
Surprised you haven't asked what became of Benny. Tell me about the boomers. I should let you know that I planted a surveillance device on one of your data terminals.
Yes, I know. It was detected immediately and deactivated, let's see, 39.735 seconds after you planted it. You thought I wouldn't notice?
Interest of full disclosure, man.
Any progress with the boomers? I'd rather you just... They occupied Nellis Air Force Base a little over 50 years ago. One of my Securitrons got some video of their arrival and then exploded. Odds are they were Vault dwellers. That's everything I know about them, really.
That's enough about the boomers.
What else?
A woman named Emily asked me to bug one of your data terminals. Why am I being a jerk about that?
One of the followers of the apocalypse, I'm sure. They're curious about me. Good luck planting a surveillance device here in the Lucky 38 without my knowing about it. What else did you...
Yeah, see, you can't really piss him off. I think we've talked about all the rest of this.
General Oliver's strategy, or tunnel vision, as I like to call it, has been to mass troops at Hoover Dam. He wants to outfight the Legion in a straightforward slugging match, and then, when they rout, pursue and destroy them in detail. A crushing, decisive victory of this sort would overshadow the tactical ingenuity of Chief Hanlon's defense 4 years ago, you see.
What's your battle plan for the dam?
A good deal should be obvious to you by now. I won't spoil the rest by talking out of turn.
Let's get back to business, shall we? Goodbye.
Come back when...
Alright. So, we'll continue to follow the path of helping House, because that really takes us to 2 potential endings. But eventually, we'll also try to get some other... I think we're actually getting pretty close to the end of the game here, folks. The last mission's a bit of a doozy. But there's also some side missions I want to do before we get the NCR ending, because when I go for the NCR ending, I'll probably go for the best overall ending. We would need to deal with the super mutants who are going crazy, the Nightkin rather, they're going crazy, because otherwise we get a little admonishment from the game that we didn't help them. And apparently there are more powder gangers out there we need to murder. We'll deal with that later on, folks. So on the Mysterious JG, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.